Let's talk Tobago.
Hi there. So we're outside. We're at Fort Milford, located in Crown Point, Tobago. Now this colorful historical site is where I'll be sharing with you the stories we covered this past week. I'm Patricia Nicholson-Richards and this is Let's Talk Tobago. Grande Gully Bridge and Road Project resumes. ADAP recently held a clean air fair and the Tobago Film Festival is connecting T&T to its African roots.
Yo, what's up? This is yours truly Positive and you're locked on to Let's Talk Tobago. Easy, bless.
Children in Tobago East were engaged in some wholesome activities while learning about the ill effects of smoking. Here's Omadara Mills with the details.
Archery is a lot harder than it appears, but it's a lot of fun and a great alternative to smoking. That's what persons experienced at the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Prevention Program's Clean Air Fair at the Sid Gray Sporting Complex in commemoration of World No Tobacco Day. Over 50 Standard 5 pupils were educated on the effects and dangers of smoking. Along the way, they were also exposed to positive activities like drama, art and sports, which piqued their interest.
Yes, I enjoyed myself, and what I liked about the event is that it helped me to understand a little more than what you will hear and learn from on TV. I learned that smoking is very bad for your health, and if you do, you could suffer grave consequences. And I learned that keeping your lungs clean and your body clean can prevent you from getting sick.
I learned of the negative effects of smoking to my body and the people around me. Lung cancer, heart disease, bad breath, cavities, blindness. From what I learned today, my lesson is I will never smoke.
Even though children are not smoking, they can be affected by tobacco smoke because we have the secondhand smoke. So one of the things we encourage students, even though you may not be able to get someone to stop smoking, if someone is smoking around you, then you need to remove yourself from that area. And I think why it's most important is that because they need to be educated now so that they can make better decisions in the future. So that's what we're hoping to accomplish.
That distraction by drugs and drug abuse is really a negative place. So we are hoping that by having these field activities, socializing, that they could see that even if you don't have everything in place at any point in time in your life, you could be stimulated by sports, by studies, and it's critical that young people have a solid foundation as they change gears in life.
World No Tobacco Day is recognized on May 31st by entities such as the World Health Organization and the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. This year's theme is Plant Food, Not Tobacco. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
The Department of Culture is ready to go for this year's Tobago Heritage Festival. Take a look at one of several training sessions organized by the department as they prepare for the festival.
Now, there's a lot of rain, and we can take that as a sign of showers and blessings from our ancestors as we're about to usher in that wonderful 2-week period that highlights Tobago's rich cultural ancestry and traditions, known to many as the Tobago Heritage Festival. So we're here at the Icons Museum at the famed Fort King George, where behind me you can see a special training cycle is going on to ready practitioners and cultural groups for the upcoming festival. And to tell us all about it, this cultural officer too, Mr. Jesse Taylor.
Yeah, it's ready, set, and you better go. It's all about honoring the past, celebrating the present, and getting ready to inspire the future. It's Heritage 2023. It's all about paying homage, all of who we are and all of who we're proud to be.
move on, or the voices were not so strong. They taught us the traditional dances. So as they taught us the traditional dances, they taught us the songs as well. And so we realized that the songs goes with the dances and the drumming. And there was no one pulling those chants because those people they didn't have the voice for it anymore. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to pick it up. And from then till now, I'm still doing it.
Well, the aim is really to get the community involved, to really bring them into the spirit of what we're doing, because as we seek to pay homage, we are seeking to pay reverence to what we are inextricably linked to, which is our cultural beliefs, the way we sing, the way we dance, the way we pray, the way we worship and observe all our traditions that we are proud to have and proud to embrace as a people that is free, liberating and strong.
And there you have it, folks. It's Heritage 2023, the Tobago Heritage Festival. Just look at what's happening. Look at it.
Afro music is big on the international and local scenes, and with that, African films are growing in popularity. Now we have the story about a local film festival that's connecting T&T with its African roots. Here's the story.
An intense scene from Halle. This Senegalese feature film by director Moussa Sen Absa opened the Tobago leg of Africa Film Trinidad and Tobago, AFTT. Scores of people enjoyed the motion picture and applauded the introduction of this kind of film festival in the Tobago space.
I thought it was an excellent film. I thought the way he brought out the emotion, and even though it was subtitled, and I may have missed some of the translations because the English words would have appeared so quickly on the screen, the acting itself, right, conveyed the messages. So I didn't really miss anything, even if I may have missed the actual words that were being said. I actually felt the film.
The film was amazing. I was taken aback by the cinematography of it. I found that the footage itself was high quality and the acting was very good.
Getting in touch with our roots, where we come from, I believe that it's an excellent initiative, and I'm hoping to see more of it in the coming years.
Big impetus behind it was to see how can we help to develop our own Caribbean film industry by tapping into some of the resources, the inspiration, some of the images that we see, some of the modes and models of filmmaking that would take place in the African continent. So it is not necessarily about let's copy what Africa is doing, but let's see what they're doing and see how it can help us in our own journey towards telling our own stories in film.
Shell Trinidad and Tobago Limited was the major sponsor for the first ever Tobago leg of AFTT. The Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation has endorsed this event. Organizers of AFTT are planning to continue connecting Tobago with its African roots through film in the coming years. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We have to take a short break right now, but more Let's Talk when we return. Stay close.
cause the carnival sweet like Tobago. Hey, it's your girl Adana, and this is Let's Talk Tobago.
It wasn't too long ago when our children were confined to limited social interaction. But since lifting the pandemic restrictions, educators in Tobago have been working hard to bring our students up to speed to be the best they can be. Here's the story.
It's all about good vibes here at the Mason Hall Government Primary School, where they're having their sports and family day. And we're just gonna spend a little time with them, have some fun, engage with the kids, and find out how they have been reactivating themselves after coming out of the pandemic. We're just gonna have some really good, clean enjoyment. Let's go.
We are social beings, and the pandemic, things that we took for granted, especially like socializing, the pandemic put that on the back burner for us. We could work together as a team, and we're going to use that to help children focus and concentrate on the academics and help children find their ability and potential. We want to use this sports day for that, and not only for that, parents and bonding with family. We are trying to pull the family closer on board with us so that we create and foster well-rounded students.
Every opportunity to have them outside, engage in physical activity is important. It's part and parcel of their holistic development and their education, because the education is not only the academics, but of course it must include physical activity and the discipline that comes with sport. And if we look at what's happening here, the healthy competition, the sense of achievement of participating, and even more if you happen to win a prize, so that is encouraged tremendously.
It's been buckets of fun, as you saw. Even the parents agree. It's been a wonderful distressor for both themselves and the kids, as you heard from the principal herself, Miss Melville. Outside is really nice. It's really good to be back outside again, especially here at the Mason Hall Government Primary School. So for Let's Talk Tobago, from both Isaac and myself, I'm Ryan McCool. It's back to you, Patricia.
Residents of Grande Gully in Goodwood are relieved by the recent completion of works done by the Division of Infrastructure. Here's the story.
Through the rainy season, especially in the rainy season, we always stranded because nothing cannot go in and nothing cannot come out. We had to climb up on the bank to get out. Well, the women and the children can't make it.
Right now we are working in the Grande Gully area in Goodwood. We are doing some retaining walls, box drains, gabion baskets to facilitate the amount of water that does come down in this area right on the side here. Today we casting the first 40 feet by 8 feet tall. The full length of the wall is 175 feet. We also have the baskets to do, which is 200 feet. It have a crossing to do, which is 45 feet in length and 24 feet in width as well, to facilitate the crossing for the bridge.
I've been living in this community for approximately about 40 odd years. This area was very, very, very difficult to get in and to get out. And I get to a point that I get fed up because, I tell my family, let me get out from here because this is not what we really need to make us happy,
I feel good helping out the villagers, because you need to go home and in disaster you would like to be home safely with your family. So I believe that the box culvert and the bridge will do a good for the villagers in here in time to come.
And I hope and I pray, because I always on my knees, you know, and when I am on my knees, things just happen. We need the fire truck to come in, the ambulance. You never know. Sometimes when we come with load and thing, we need vehicles to take us where we are going. And it's important that the government, the infrastructure, could see that we are comfortable in the village of Grande Gully in Goodwood.
From Fort Milford, you can see Pigeon Point and the Cocoa Reef Hotel right behind me. A spectacular view here in Crown Point, if you ask me. And guys, that's how we bring this episode of Let's Talk Tobago to an end. I'm Patricia Nicholson-Richards, and on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, thank you so much for viewing, and see you soon.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, Tobago, and welcome this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We're coming to you live this morning from the Port Mall, Lower Scarborough, Tobago. Beautiful morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you, Trinidad. Those of you viewing in Tobago, those of you in the Caribbean, and those of you on the live. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning out there. We're really happy to be in your company. This is the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Viewers, we're going to get right on into things. We've got news coming up in 90 seconds with Candace.
Thank you, Ria. I am Candace Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Friday, 16th June 2023, sponsored by Coconuts Cafe on the ground floor of the Port Mall in Scarborough. Former Chief Secretary Ho Troy Charles alluded to having knowledge of what can be expected from Chief Secretary Farley Augustine when he speaks on the issue of the audio recording. Mr. Charles indicated that the recording is more than a year old while speaking on a radio station yesterday. He stated that the recording emanated when the administration took office. Whilst admitting it to not wanting to overshadow what is to come, the former Chief Secretary did leave the audience curious as to whether Mr. Augustine will admit that the voice on the recording is indeed his. Meanwhile, male residents of the St. Vincent de Paul Home for the Aged in Mason Hall were treated to a day of pampering and interaction with staff and students of the program for adolescent mothers yesterday. This was part of the Bridging the Gap activity, a component for PAM students where they developed an appreciation for the elderly in society and learn about volunteerism. The pampering of the men at the home comes in time for Father's Day on June 18th. And finally, the management of Tobago Updates issued a statement in support of youth journalism, noting that to simply say the youth are the leaders of the future and not provide the platforms for them to foray their interests and expertise is nothing but lip service. The management strongly disagreed with any individual or organization which uses their status to chastise young journalists when opinions are not aligned. And that was your news in 90 seconds, sponsored by Coconuts Cafe.
Coconuts Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Thank you there, Candace, and thank you so much for joining us here.
Certainly. My pleasure as always.
Definitely. Now, Candace, I see here where there's going to be a public briefing later on this morning, and this is by the Honorable Farley Chavez Augustine, Chief Secretary of Tobago. Your thoughts very quickly, and I know that the public is really looking forward to this, but your thoughts on this?
Well, it's about time. I mean, I am pleased that he actually kept this promise because, for weeks he's been saying that he will talk. Very interesting on Tuesday at the Bagatelle Bacalet Town Hall meeting, people were questioning him. Are you sure you are going to speak by the end of the week? Because Mr. Augustine has not always kept his promises about speaking when he says he would speak on certain issues. So we're looking forward to see what he says. I mean, there's a whole lot going on. The police are apparently investigating the matter, as well as the Integrity Commission.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to it.
Definitely. I see, and you did say Police Commissioner Ulla Christopher has given the all clear and the go-ahead to have this matter, this voice note gate, investigated. And yeah, I agree with you. The public is certainly looking forward to hearing what he has to say, but it didn't sound too well in my ear. That's me. When you said that he doesn't always keep his promises to speak. But But maybe
It
this
is
can
what
be,
it is.
maybe this can be a step in a new direction.
Well, I'm not sure because he did say on Tuesday that the media does not set his agenda. So I guess that's an indication that this may continue as we go forward.
All right, well, we leave it there, but I'm certainly looking forward to this coming up on 9 o'clock. And if I'm not mistaken, Tobago Updates will be carrying it live. We'll be carrying it live from 9 a.m. this morning.
Right after GMT.
Right after GMT. All right, thank you so much there, Candace. Well, the viewers, there you have it. We're certainly looking forward to that coming up this morning. As well, we're going to head on over. Yeah, I think we can afford to head on over into our birthday segment, which is sponsored by...
This is your birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
All right, so we've got a birthday celebrant here, and this is Shavon Arthur celebrating her birthday today. So Shavon, love going out to you from the entire Reed Arthur clan here in Tobago and outside, and from all of us here at Tobago Updates. We've got a lovely daughter of the soil, no longer living here, but still a daughter of the soil, Danielle Decoto Campbell, celebrating her birthday. Happy birthday and lots of love going out to you. I'm almost certain there are going to be some birthday shout-outs on the live for you this morning. This is our girl, Onika Mars, celebrating her birthday today, and she has had this countdown on for a few days now. Onika, love going out to you, and we trust that you enjoy, that you have a great one. And that's looking at you, 50 girl, 50. We've got David Mirage, no stranger to us here in Tobago. David Mirage, out there fishing, doing what he loves to do, celebrating his birthday. David Mirage, lots of love going out to you this morning from Tobago Updates and the Tobago. We've got Denzel White celebrating a birthday, a gentleman indeed. Happy birthday going out to you today, Denzel White, and we trust that you have a really great one. And this is Natasha Gordon celebrating her birthday. Happy birthday going out to you, Natasha Gordon. Have a great one from all of us here at Tobago Updates. He is no stranger to Tobago. He's the get it done man, Kevon McKenna, celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday going out to you, Kevon McKenna, from all of us here in Tobago and the Tobago Updates morning show.
Birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
All right, viewers, we are back. And, at this time, in the midst of celebrating life, we have to celebrate the passing of some of our stalwarts here in Tobago, in Trinidad and beyond. And this morning, we are saddened to announce to you this morning the passing of Mr. Winston Gordon. And this hit me this morning when I got up and I saw this on social media. The executive of the RBC Redemption Songsetters is sad to announce the passing of Mr. Winston Gordon. He loved Pan. He comes from a banking background, but loved Pan, was very, very passionate about Pan. And so we offer God's strength and God's, peace to his family. Even at this time, there's never a good way, there's never a good day to get the news of someone's passing, the passing of a friend or a loved one. So we extend condolences this morning on behalf of the entire Tobago Updates crew. So let's just tell you a little bit about what's coming up on the program this morning before we head on over into our into Tobago in Focus. So coming up this morning, we will be chatting with Dr. Denise Sawyer-Angus, the former presiding officer of the Tobago House of Assembly. And it's all about voice note gate and what could happen. We'll chat a little bit more on that this morning. And then we had a one-on-one with Dr. Andre McSween, chiropractor. And it's all about the importance of chiropractic. So you don't want to miss that. And he walked us through an adjustment on a gentleman, one of his patients. Then we're going to wrap things up this morning chatting with Ronnie McIntosh, designer, producer of Monkey Business, and Sean Anthony, the band leader of Monkey Business. And it's all about Jade Monkeys, Faces of Tobago band launch. And that's what's coming up on the program. You know, as well, viewers, coming up, we've got Father's Day coming up this weekend. Father's Day coming up on Sunday. And we just want to remind you here that you can contact Phyllis. Phyllis has it happening at her business place. You can contact Phyllis for that Father's Day special that is on today. So it's happening down, and this is just after the Rosie's Bakery down in Canaan, Bonaccord, Canaan. Right. You can contact Phyllis, and the number is 610-3871 or 479-4285. So those really nice cornrow styles that some daddies like to rock, check out Phyllis. Give her a call, and she's got the specials on for the daddies for today and the graduation specials that we're going to tell you about in the coming weeks. All right, so that's what's coming up on the program this morning. So viewers, we're going to head on over into Tobago Notes at this time.
Mediation is used as an alternative to litigation through the use of an impartial moderator and communication and negotiation techniques. The Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection established its mediation unit in 2009 and has steadily expanded. The unit, equipped with 2 certified mediators, has since settled several matters, including landlord and tenant issues, merchant-customer disputes, property and land, parenting, and even issues regarding the running of traditional susus. Assistant Coordinator at the Mediation Unit, Carol Spencer Edwards, further explains.
We deal with family and relationship disputes, neighborhood conflicts, community disputes, juvenile conflicts. So the range of issues are there, and as I said, we try to offer persons that option as against going to the court.
Ms. Spencer Edwards revealed a high success rate between 70 and 75%, noting that a large part of the unit's success lies with the process, as persons are allowed to speak freely in a safe and comfortable environment.
Quite often the issues that they deal with or that they're dealing with is not out of the ballpark. It's right. Just that maybe sometimes not able to sit and express themselves. And sometimes you need somebody there to say, here's what, let's start with, or hold up, give her a minute, or hold up, give him a minute. Right. You know.
The recent addition of a therapeutic counseling unit manned by 8 counselors has further expanded services, including a crisis hotline, parenting workshop, grief counseling, life skill coaching, marriage counseling, and learning enrichment programs. Services can be accessed through its walk-in services or by referral.
Welcome back, viewers. That was Tobago in Focus. And at this time, viewers, we are going to be heading on over into that recording with Dr. Andre McSween, chiropractor, and we'll discuss the importance of chiropractic. Welcome back, viewers. We are here today at the Philippa McSween Memorial Chiropractic Center. And this is where Dr. McSween is located. For those of you who know, he is a chiropractor, and today we're going to have a nice one-on-one with Dr. McSween. Let's go. Morning. Hi, good morning. Good morning, Dr. McSween.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I haven't seen you for some time.
It's been a long time.
Oh, it's a pleasure here.
All right. Could you tell our viewers, in terms of chiropractic care, what is chiropractic?
Okay, chiropractic is the art, science, and philosophy of vertebral subluxation. A vertebral subluxation is when any segment of the spine moves out of place in this relationship with the bone above it or below.
Okay.
And it is about a hands-on approach to healthcare, where you use your hands to move the segment of the spine to relieve nerve pressure, therefore decreasing pain, discomfort, numbness, swelling, and so forth.
Is this the type of skill one can acquire from watching YouTube videos?
No. Impossible, virtually impossible. Remember, I can walk. I told you I had an injury. I jumped out of a plane, my parachute didn't open. And as an MD, having had that experience and going to all my MDs, my neurologists, etc., they did not know what was wrong with me until I found a chiropractor that they sent me to. That was the last straw because I was due for surgery. And the first day the chiropractor, I couldn't feel my legs. The first day the chiropractor put his hands on me, I felt my legs. I thought some was amiss because
it was magic.
I thought it was magic, trust me, because I had to drive to my bathroom to get to the toilet, the whole bit, and it was an experience I want no one to experience. And so the guy that put me back on my feet is a bona fide chiropractor. Went to school, got his doctorate in chiropractic, and he showed me, got to use those x-rays. Without them, you're in trouble. So you can't look at YouTube or wherever you want to look at, or go to the backyard of somebody else and see somebody do something and say they're a chiropractor. You have to have that doctorate in chiropractic to practice chiropractic.
Now, I know sometimes persons refer to you as the man who does crack back.
Yeah. I've gotten accustomed to it. I used to feel bad about it before, but I don't anymore.
Right, but it's important for them to note that it's not about cracking the back.
No, not at all. You adjust the spine. You don't crack anything.
Although we hear the noise.
Oh yeah,
we hear the sounds.
You heard the sounds
we hear the sounds.
But yeah, you don't crack anything. You adjust the bones. You adjust the spinal column. You adjust the vertebral bodies from the base of your head, which is atlas, all the way down to sacrum.
And what is the aim? At the end of the day, what is the aim for chiropractic care?
All right, the aim of chiropractic care is to get you well and to remove tension on the nerve that is being caused by the disc and lots of times the bones as well, the vertebral segments.
Okay, so today we're going to be chatting with a couple of your patients, and you're going to give us a nice walk through in terms of how you treat your patients and what you look for.
Okay, yes.
Okay, let's go. So Dr. McSween, it's important for our viewers to note that you operate with x-rays.
Yes.
How important is that?
Vital, because it is what that tells you where the bones have moved to. Nothing else does.
Not the tips of your finger, not intuition.
No intuition.
Years of experience.
Yes. Well, without the x-rays, you can't function as a chiropractor. It's impossible. It's just like if you're a cardiologist, a nephrologist, any one of those guys, they must know and get information essential to assist and help the patient. The nephrologists need, of course, all kind of information on the kidneys, and the cardiologists need all kind of information on the heart. The chiropractor needs all the information he can on the spinal column. And the only thing that provides that is the x-ray and the MRI.
Okay, so tell us what we're looking at on the screen.
We're looking at, I normally must request 3 x-rays of the cervical spine. We're looking at a base posterior x-ray on the left, and we're looking at a lateral cervicals. So they're both cervical x-rays, and the other x-ray that goes along with this is what is referred to as an open mouth. An open mouth x-ray is essential because you're looking at atlas and axis down the cervical spine. So this here is atlas, this here is axis, and then you have C3, C4, C5 down to C7. The reason why you want an open mouth as a chiropractor is because you're looking for laterality, and that is where is axis and atlas located and the relationship that they have. In this film here, which is of Joe, the spinous process of axis has moved to the right. And therefore, there's a space between atlas and axis that's called the ADI space. You see it on either side. This is the odontoid process of C2, and it goes up into axis. So you're looking at this space here. You can see, really from this space, there's a discrepancy. You can see that the space on the left is very different to the space on the right. And of course, looking at the spinals from C2, you know there's rotation. So C2 is rotated to the right, C3 is rotated to the right, C4 is also rotated to the right. So that X-ray there is essential. And then this here, which is the base posterior X-ray, you want to see further down. And so you can identify the bones that are out of place. So C6 and C7 are certainly rotated right as well. And the lateral view tells me that Joe has what is referred to as a military neck.
Which means?
A military neck meaning it has lost its curve. There's what is referred to as a lordotic curve, which is like a C. And you can see his neck is straight.
Yes.
So this X-ray identifies what is referred to as cervical spondylosis. Yes?
Based on the X-ray, based on what we're seeing on the X-ray, is it that Joe was born like this? Or did this happen as a result of an accident, injury?
Well, this looks like post-traumatic. It looks like he has been some trauma to the cervical spine, maybe in an accident and so forth, and that would cause this problem here, where there's a tightening up of the ligaments and muscles that brings about this. And then we're looking at osteophytes at the end plates of the vertebrae, like this here is an osteophyte, there's an osteophyte, there's a little jutting out here of C4, and there's an osteophyte up at C6, the superior end plate of C6 and so forth. So I must identify that to understand his symptoms as well, because these osteophytes would cause pain and movement of the neck and flexion of the neck, rotation of the neck, and bending of the neck. Yes. So these are the exercises that I take my patients through to identify and localize the problem.
Can you tell based on the X-ray how long?
Oh yes, certainly. Certainly. He has had this, I would say, 15, 20 years. He has had it, maybe a little more. And I'm basically looking at destruction.
Okay.
And that came about from the trauma he had experienced. Usually a patient comes to me with this. The first thing I ask, have you been in an accident, an auto accident in particular? Mm-hmm. And then you have all the other questions like growing up, what he used to do, carry water on his head, and this kind of stuff. And if he has had any other mishaps after that, he has slipped and fall. So all of that affects this. And from this now, he would get tingling in the fingers, numbness and pain in the elbows, in the wrists, in the shoulders, the side of the neck.
Ms. Alfred, good morning.
Good morning.
And it's really nice of you to take the time to chat with us today. All right. Now, you've been coming to Dr. McSween. Let's start with why you started to come to Dr. McSween. What were some of the symptoms? What was happening with you that made you decide, hey, I think I need to see a chiropractor?
I have been having a lot of problems with my legs, especially this right leg. Mm-hmm. Pains. Sometimes you can't walk. Pain from the hip.
No.
Yeah. So I was attending a doctor, and there was a nurse there who, well, she worked with the doctor, but she knew of Dr. McSween. Mm-hmm. So she advised me that she thinks I should come to see him because I wasn't getting any better.
Okay.
You know? So eventually I found him, and that's quite about A few years.
A few years.
Yeah. And since then I've been coming because I am able to walk. I'm able to do a lot of things now without pain that I couldn't do before.
Let me ask you, what did you think it could have been initially?
Well, I didn't even know what to think. It was just the legs, and I was having problems in moving them. They were getting swollen and painful.
Okay.
Right. I'd been going to the doctor. He would give you medication, but it will go and it will come back.
Okay. I know some people think, oh, it must be gas.
No.
It's probably age. And we start to self-diagnose.
Well, I didn't think about age because I was pretty young at the time. As you see, I'm still young.
Still young, that's right. I see your husband agrees. Yes.
Yeah. And that's a few years now, you know. And I'm still coming because I am satisfied, totally satisfied.
Okay.
With my movement, with everything. I mean, now and then it will take in a little,
right,
but nothing to complain or to lay you up, that kind of thing.
Okay. Now, Penny, what made you decide to start coming to Dr. McSween?
Actually, I was referred by a previous doctor, who Lord Father. Yeah, I went to her for another issue, and then she noticed that. She said, "You have problems with your spine?" I said, "No." She said, "But something definitely is not right here. It looks like it's a bit curved." And then she said, "I'm going to refer you to a chiropractor," and she sent me to Dr. McSween.
So you did not even realize that the spine was curved?
No. I actually went in to get an echo done.
Okay, and she noticed this?
She noticed this during her examination.
But as a result of this curved spine, unnoticed, what were some of the symptoms that you experienced?
At the time, I wasn't experiencing anything major, but I did observe, like, my back, the upper portion, I would be getting like pains depending on what I do and how my daily activity was. And then Dr. McSween would have sent me for x-rays, and then from that he started to treat me, throughout, and he has been treating me for 10 years. Basically, my daily day-to-day activity creates my problem to some degree because I think I have a bit of spondylosis, right? And then sometimes my neck also gives me problems. I think I was in an accident a couple of years ago, and maybe the whiplash or whatever they call it. So with all of that, from time to time, he treats me when I overdo it. And
she's honest.
Because we do sometimes ordinary housework, sometimes you're lifting things that you're not supposed to be lifting.
Or lifting it inappropriately.
Right, that would happen.
Okay.
He accuses me of lifting it inappropriately. Yeah, sometimes I really do. You just
right. In the interest of time, I know. All right. So, were you in any type of pain at the time?
Well, as I said, at that time, it wasn't particularly noticeable. All right, it's just, the previous doctor, Dr. Jack, they said that I would just age and I need to manage it.
Right.
So, sometimes you discover something and then you take care of it one time. You don't wait 10, 15 years down the line and then you go look for a chiropractor. You treat with it. So I've been under his care more than 10 years.
I have analyzed Joe's films. Previous to this position he's lying on, I would have put him on another table, stretched him up a bit, give him a back massage a bit to loosen him up, and then put him on this table. And so I'm going into Joe's neck. I'm going into C1 and C4 in particular to move them. Right. Relax your head. Just leave your head in my hands. Leave your head in my hands. Don't help me. Good. I've moved it already.
Yes.
You heard it?
I heard it.
Okay.
I heard it.
And I would stretch him a little bit. So I'm going to go into his neck on the left side, because the segments of the vertebrae that I spoke of, they all rotated to the right. So I'm moving 2 bones down here from right to left, which is C5 and C6.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at my hands, you see my hands are in particular places.
Yes.
All right. My left hand is to lend stability to the head, and the right is to move the segment. I'm going to move the segment. Good. So the segment is moved.
Now, I'm just asking here: is Mr. Joe in any pain?
No.
That's important to note.
No, Mr. Joe is not in any pain. And then I'm going to come here. I'm going to move T1 and T2 and T3 to the left side of his neck. Drop your hands to me, Joe. Okay. And that's done. Now, he's been with me so long, when he comes and I check, you may not hear as much sound there.
But the first few times that he came...
Oh my God, to ask him. A lot of noise in the head. All right?
Okay, folks, we just spent part of our morning chatting with Dr. Andre McSween about chiropractic care and the importance of it, the importance of having a licensed, trained chiropractor put their hands on you. Now, it's not just about looking at YouTube videos or doing something behind the building, but it's about a recognized, licensed chiropractor treating and attending to your body's needs. So, we want to thank you for joining us, and lots more coming up this morning on the Tobago Updates morning show. So, share the live, share the live, share the live.
Hey, you buy a gift for daddy, has it? I didn't think so. You could come into Authentic Builders right here in Tobago Local Road, right? And you can get discounts on power tools, so daddy. If not, you know you can get fame as well. Right behind me there is blocks. You can buy some blocks to finish the house, or tunnel steel, lumber, even roofing as well. So we are announcing our Grandfather's Day sale. And to crown it off, the crowning moment will be Friday the 16th and Saturday the 17th, where you can come in store, get free giveaways, and on Friday is breakfast given out. Saturday is lunches sharing out. So you hear the scene right here in Bonaccord, Tobago, and send in your quotation to 272-1990 for your free WhatsApp quotation. It's that simple. So guys, come on down right here at Tobago Local Road in Canaan to come and get your best prices. Not to mention, don't forget, you have to come down here Friday the 16th and Saturday the 17th, where you're getting giveaways and all different things will be happening right here for Daddy in Tobago later.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning. Joining us on set is Dr. Denise Sawyer-Fat Angus, former presiding officer of the Tobago House of Assembly. Our focus this morning is on the voice note gate and what could happen. And this is among some of the other issues that are happening here in Tobago. Good morning, welcome to you, Dr. Angus.
Good morning, Ria. Good morning, Tobago, and all of your viewing audience, wherever you all reside.
And I have to say that you're also the political leader here of the IDA, and I guess with wearing all of these hats, you are more than qualified to respond to some of the issues, or treat with some of these issues that are happening within the Tobago space. Now, we see quite recently here, the issue here of the voice note gate, that's how it's being termed now, voice note gate, with regards to the a voice note that has been circulating on social media, with the voices sounding like that of Chief Secretary Fali Augustine, as well as the Secretary for Education, Zarisha Hackett. Speaking to several issues here, concerning issues, but we see here where the police commissioner has decided this morning to give the all clear for this matter to be investigated. Also coming up this morning from 9 o'clock, there is on social media, we see where the chief secretary is going to be speaking. Now, it's termed a public briefing. Now, we're not too sure on what issue or issues, but your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts, you spoke about the various hats I do wear, and it would be remiss of me if I don't take the opportunity to extend deepest condolences to our first presiding officer of the Tobago House of Assembly on his passing Jeff Davidson and extend deepest condolences to his family. Also, as the former Secretary of Community Development and Culture, I had the opportunity to work with Winston Gordon, who chaired the Carnival Committee and sat on the Festival Committee, which was within the Division of Community Development and Culture. And therefore, I extend deepest condolences to his son, Justin, and to the rest of his family. He will be deeply missed. He was an icon in the world of culture, even though people knew him as being part of Scotiabank. He really was a cultural icon. So we pay tribute to the work that was done. Now, returning ourselves to some other matters, you spoke about this voice note gate that we are dealing with. And, you know, we have known that this administration has put forward several press briefings that we thought would go one way, and it went totally a different way. So, you know, the question is that we have to really wait and see what the press briefing is about. It could be about the chief administrator. It could be about many other issues plaguing the Tobago space today.
And not necessarily on the voice note.
And not necessarily on the voice note.
All right. But we want to get your thoughts here, Dr. Angus, on the issue of the voice notes. There's some who are saying it's not a big deal. This happens the world's over. This happens in politics. It's all a part of the game.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that we justify wrong. To say that, well, wrong was done then, so wrong should be done now. And
it was okay then, so it should be okay
then,
now.
should be okay now. But these young persons campaigned on a new Tobago where you will be fixing things, you will be righting the wrongs of the past. And therefore, to be able to say that it is right because it happened in the past, I don't buy that. And we do have very strict laws where this activity is concerned. And perhaps I want to separate what was okay and what was not okay. What is okay is that when a representative comes in, you have the option to hire persons within your electoral districts. The assembly legislature pays for those persons, you're given an allowance, and you could decide how many persons you're bringing in, who you're bringing in, the type of job descriptions you want them to have, and also how much money you're even paying them. You get to decide that. Right. As a representative. But when it comes to the Tobago House of Assembly, there has to be a process of recruitment which is managed through the offices of the administrator and the public servants, and also, you know, through HR. So when you talk about just get them in, put them in a position 8 to 4 in the THA to do fake profiles, that is where the issue comes in. And so that is what has triggered the investigation. That is what they will be investigating, because inside of your Tobago House of Assembly Act 40 of 1996, Section 23 mentions the Prevention of the Corruption Act 1987, and Section 24 mentions the Integrity in Public Life Act of 1987, that these are acts that should be referred to unknown in terms of what the guidelines are for operating within the Assembly. And those acts clearly show that, you know, situations such as the voice note should not be occurring. Now, there is a process. Persons are innocent until they are proven guilty or they are convicted. So even if the current investigation garners enough evidence to charge the persons involved, there's still a process. I mean, it's not the first time that we have someone who is charged sitting in the assembly. So a charge is not enough. And that charge has to lead to a conviction before anything can be done. So there is a long process. Now, in terms of the conviction, it's one of the stiffest penalties that we have. $500,000 and 10 years in jail. You know, so it's one of the stiffest penalties out there under the Prevention of Corruption Act of 1987.
And I guess this is done to send a very strong message.
It is done to send a strong message, and also it is important that we know that someone is innocent until proven guilty, even though you are charged. And so there is a process. We don't know how long the process would take, because if the process happens overnight, then you ask yourself, how many other court cases are there that have been ahead of this, that all of a sudden this case jumps ahead. So it's going to be a long while, even if he is charged, and we continue. But Tobago has to ask itself, we've gone through decades now, you know, the neighbor pressuring you, you know, watching your fowl come, and you find the eggs disappearing. The neighbor, you decide, well, okay, let's get rid of the neighbor. We put in we own. You put your own dog inside of there to watch the fowl come. Next thing, the eggs start disappearing from the dog you call ring bang. The neighbor looking over in what you're saying and pressuring you now. Listen, that dog you get worse. The neighbor say, listen, I go bring the dog for you. Neighbor bring the dog. Next thing, zip line, taking all your eggs. Right? You decide you can't handle that, you bring in your own. You bring voice note gate, the eggs gone. At some point, Tobago, we need to ask ourselves, is it that the leash wasn't strong enough? Is it that the door wasn't, you know, secure enough? Is it that where the chickens were fenced were not secure enough? We have to start asking ourselves those questions, because right now you're being clickbaited into calling another election by the neighbor again. And you have to ask yourself, okay, you call an election, then what? Did you fix the leash? Did you cover up the fence, secure the door? It is time for us to start talking a bigger conversation about our governance structure. It is time that we begin to look at that framework, because clearly it's not working.
No.
Successive administrations have been runaway administrations, and we can't do anything about them. How do you, in this modern world, keep persons, you know, in track before you have to wait to send them to jail?
Is this enough to call? Is this enough for a call to have another elections? Is this matter enough?
To do what? To do what?
Good question.
Yeah, and my issue is, have you looked at the leash to make sure, even if you call another election, that you could control the dog you put in there? Have you looked at the leash? Have you looked at the door to see if it's secure enough? Have you looked, you know, to make sure you have everything in place? What is it going to take for us to learn? It's 4 administrations now where you end up at the end of the administration having a runaway administration. At what point do we begin looking at the framework? And this one run away long before the time. You know, there's a message there for us. Let us look beyond the bacchanal facing us right now, and the message being sent to us as Tobagonians to begin looking at the framework, having discussions, you know, as to what really works for us.
Let me ask you
Everyone
very
talks
quickly.
about the Westminster system.
Yes.
In the Westminster system, this would have been done, cleaned up and gone.
Move on.
Yes. Okay? Because in that system, you have more persons who sit outside of the executive and not beholding to the executive such that they can make a decision and, if necessary, move the executive and put in a new one, or move the prime minister and put in a new one, as we have seen recently. So, we have to sit and look at what framework really works for us going forward, because definitely what is there right now cannot work.
You spoke a little while ago about the issue of governance, that this is an issue about governance. The issue of governance, is it still on the table? Do you see that this issue is still on the table as a priority for this administration? It started off there, and we heard Mr. Watson Duke speak quite recently on he had a press conference and a PDP conference, and he spoke to the issue of the administration returning to the mandate of the then PDP that they were a part of. Is the issue of governance, does it appear to still be on the as a high priority for this administration?
Well, what is governance? Governance is not just a mandate given. Governance is the accountability factor. Your willingness to account to the people. Governance is the transparency factor.
Which is all that was said initially by this current administration.
Correct. And so what we have seen, governance is the obligation and the feeling that you want to talk to the people. And they spoke about participatory governance. And we are no longer hearing the involvement of the people or taking into consideration the cries of the people. And so clearly the administration is not, dealing with good governance, right? But in addition to that, good governance has to be enforceable. Right now, we have no way to enforce it, and that segues into the fact that, good governance means in Tobago that we have a chief administrator and a chief secretary governing at the helm of the Tobago House of Assembly. At this point, we just have a one-man show, and everything has gone successively down the road, and from the start it has been no respect for the house in terms of the getting to the house on time, to have those legislative meetings once a month to be on time. Then we saw where a meeting was skipped, and they've actually attempted to justify, instead of just saying, okay, we apologize, the meeting was skipped. They attempted to justify it. So we are seeing successive erosion of our governance structure at all levels inside of this. Now, is that enough to say call election now? I don't think it's enough to say call election now, because like I said, we as a people have to take some responsibility that we continue to put people there without the necessary framework that causes them to stay on the right path.
And I hear what you're saying here, Dr. Angus. I hear what you're saying here. So what is the way forward? What could happen in terms of, if, again, going back here to the voice note gate.
So what could happen? Right. So what could happen? They are here, and if they are given the okay, they can go into search offices, houses, just about everything. And depending on the evidence they find, they may then refer it that he may be charged if there's enough evidence. If indeed he is charged, it is a charge. He's not convicted. He is innocent until proven guilty. He continues in the assembly. However, if his colleagues determine that it is enough of a distraction, they could ask him to resign. He could decide to resign on his own, or they may decide to put a vote of no confidence against him and force him to resign. And that is clear that it has to be by resolution in the act, and then within 2 days, once that resolution is passed, within 2 days, he has to demit office. And then that goes to the deputy actually acting as the deputy until the House goes to an election to vote in a new chief secretary at the time, and also to vote in a new chief secretary. So it's a long process, and I don't see any part of that occurring. I see that they may very well just continue the way that they have been going until the end of the 4 years. At that time, who knows whether the case will be called. But if at any time that case is called, it is $500,000 if he's found guilty, and 10 years in jail, and also never being able to go back for elections again.
I see a viewer on the live is saying, where is the autonomy for Tobago? Another viewer said, this is the only thing I agree with, no election.
Yeah.
No call for an election.
And it is an opportunity for us to have the conversations, to begin the conversations about, whether that bill in Parliament that they're trying to force, and this is another opportunity that the neighbor is trying to do, to force that bill in Parliament to trigger new elections, because that is the only way you can trigger new elections without the House dissolving itself. And therefore, we have to ask ourselves as Tobagonians, is that diluted bill that ended up in the Parliament what we want? And therefore, we have to start coming together to have the conversations, to look at it, to say that there has to be something else put in place. And the problem is not just in Tobago. The problem is throughout the country, and even in some other Caribbean islands, because we conveniently took part of the Westminster system that gives us an autocratic type society, and we did not take the full piece of it. It's now time to really look at the whole thing and introduce it such that we truly have democracy in full operation on the island, and as an example to the country and to the rest of the Caribbean. We have the opportunity, Tobago, to do it now, and I'm calling on all of us. Let us begin our consultations now. Let us begin talking to each other. Take off our hats, because at the end of the day, this is about Tobago. Yes. This is no longer about which party, that party, the other party. Yeah? This is about the neighbor house. This is about our house. It is time for us to take a strong look at our house together and make some decisions going forward. We have had way enough examples along the way to get us into that mode right now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Angus, for chatting with us on these and other issues. Always a pleasure chatting with you. And viewers, we're going to leave it there for this time. We've got lots more coming up this morning on the Tobago Updates morning show. Coming up, we will be chatting with Ronnie McIntosh, designer, producer of Monkey Business, and Sean Anthony, band leader. So it's coming up just after the break. So share the live, share the live, share the live.
Looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back this morning. Welcome back this morning to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are chatting at this time with Ronnie McIntosh, designer, producer of Monkey Business, and Sean Anthony, band leader. And it's all about Jade Monkey, Faces of Tobago band launch. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Are you hearing us clearly?
We're hearing you loud and clear there, Ronnie McIntosh. We're hearing you loud and... In fact, all of Tobago is hearing you this morning.
Good morning, Rhea. Good morning.
Good morning to Sean. It's good to have you gentlemen on with us. Now, let's get right into things in the interest of time here. So, Jade Monkey is presenting Faces of Tobago band launch. Tell us about the Faces of Tobago. What is behind? Give us a story behind this band.
The story. Okay, but basically the story is, one is we started off last year and we did the tribute to Black, so that was really good. And you know, of course, at the end of that, you're looking for your second year, your second theme, and of course, you know, time to showcase, time to focus on Tobago. So yeah, of course, Sean and myself in our quiet moments, you know, with some CMOS and Moby and stuff like that, because that's all we drink. Yeah, we basically was juggling, and of course, pay tribute to Tobago. So when we say Faces of Tobago, it doesn't have to be necessarily Sean's face or you know what I mean. Faces is like places. It don't have to be Dwight York as well. So it could be places.
Right.
You know what I mean? So of course we won't talk too much, but of course we would have focused on, you know, places like the Nyland Pool and of course Pigeon Point and of course the Argyle, you know what I mean, and that kind of stuff. So we went around, and of course we grew. As a matter of fact, we grew because last year we did 3 sections, and I must say, we'll be presenting 5 sections this Sunday. Happy Father's Day as well.
Thank you. All right, now I want to ask Sean Anthony here. I mean, under a bad head of CMOS and Moby, we want to have an idea. We want to have an idea of the level. That's what Ronnie said. They said that's all you're doing. Right? So under the bad head of CMOS and Moby, we want to have an idea of the creativity. We want to see the creativity and the story behind the band. I know there was a time when costumes were being presented and there was a story. You could follow the story. Are we still there? Have we moved away from that, even with the 5 new sections for 2023 or 2024?
Yeah, the story is still there. The story is still there. I mean, we stick to the plan, and the plan is to keep it simple but effective. All right, the story is about Tobago, Faces of Tobago, which we portray very well. And as Ronnie said earlier on, we're not going to elaborate too much. We want you to come and get that wow factor on Sunday. Right? The richness of the costumes is Tobago. So we're urging you, come out Sunday evening, you bring the family. It's an open, free event to the public. So Faces of Tobago will be in full bloom.
All right, and remind us of where this is happening.
Well, it's all happening in Kong Point at Jade Monkey Bar. At Jade Monkey Bar is happening. We have some surprises.
Is Ronnie dancing? Is Ronnie dancing in the corner there? We see.
I'm not dancing. There'll be a slight extension in terms of accommodation. There's a nice infrastructure. Yes, we have extended the infrastructure to accommodate, so to speak.
Okay.
Yes. With permission, of course.
Okay. Yes. All right. So give us the time. Give us the time again.
10 p.m. 10 p.m. Come. I mean, we're actually starting. We're having a pre-pump. You know, so all the persons who want to come down and line before, we have lots of specials. 6 o'clock. Yeah, 6. Come and get some nice drink specials. We have meat. We have food. If you want to come down prior and you get a nice Father's Day lunch, fine. But we're having a pre-pump from 6 to 9. And then we're going to start the showcase of the costumes from 9:30, 10ish till about 11 o'clock-ish. It's going to be really, really compact. And what's the... And the display will be, again, in full bloom.
Well, as he mentioned, display. If you realize on our set, our backdrop,
yes,
there's
Caesar.
Yes, that was my idea actually. That was my idea.
You wicked boy.
All right, okay, that was Sean's idea actually, and we decided we will include a little sneak peek, as we call it, in the backdrop. So there's a sneak peek in the backdrop. It looks kind of birdy, so that means there's something
on the horizon.
There's something on the horizon, and there's something concerning Tobago with a bird and something.
Too much.
All right, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, gentlemen.
But there's a sneak peek.
That is
Showtime though. But Showtime, and the models, I must say, nice group of young ladies and guys, all from right here in Tobago, and they're really excited. I must say a pleasant good morning to those ladies who are involved. Their call time will be a couple of hours before, but the show starts at 10 p.m. The first model will hit the stage at 10 p.m. Do not miss it. As Sean mentioned, there is the pre-pump, whereas, music is going to be taking place, and top Tobago DJs will be on showcase and that kind of stuff. So, hey, come down from early now. Come down from early, 6, 7, and just feel the vibe and feel the energy build too. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us this morning. And it's happening on Father's Day, 10 p.m.
Before you go, I want to wish you guys a happy 7th anniversary in advance.
You want to wish?
Happy anniversary in advance to be updated.
Thank you so much. You remembered. Thank you so much for that.
Remember that? Oh my wonderful! You remember your 7 years. Well done.
Thank you so much. He's wishing Tobago Updates happy anniversary in advance. Thank you so much, and gentlemen, all the best to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I tell you, never a dull moment with these two gentlemen. I don't know how they're gonna deal with it. He said too much information there. But viewers, we're gonna leave it there for today. We want to thank you so much for joining us, and have a really great day. And we want to extend Happy Father's Day to all of the daddies out there. To my daddy, Elton Richardson, love from your children, your grandchildren. Happy Father's Day, Daddy, love you. To my husband, my children, father, my pickney them, Daddy. Happy Father's Day to you, Oswald, George, and to all the other daddies out there. Uncle Ray, Happy Father's Day to you. And my uncles out there, Happy Father's Day. We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much again. Have a great day, safe weekend, and we will see you next week. Lots of exciting things coming up. We're going to head on over to GMT, but before we do, we're going to head on over to Tobago Notes.
Welcome to this historical occasion, the first of its kind throughout the nation. Today, we opening the Mill Ruin site. This place is a sure delight to tell all stories and tales about the ancestors and the old-time days. So sit back, relax, and listen well to a wee version of the plantation that we will now tell. Beat your drum, Mr. Drummer.
We want to make our product here at Grande Gully Secondary School, this experience, marketable, and something that can be incorporated with the tour service providers and hoteliers and so on as a viable tourist attraction.
I see this as a comprehensive package for any visitor, and not just cruise visitors. We have a number of domestic tourists who are also going to enjoy product offerings like this.
The Mill Ruin experience at the Goodwood Secondary School gives visitors the opportunity to purchase local art, craft, and delicacies while enjoying dramatic presentations.
We intend to up our marketing campaign, creating the awareness that there is indeed a Mill Ruin experience available to the public here. and that this experience is one with a difference because it brings the youth in focus.
I am very excited to know that we're the first school in Tobago that actually have something like that.
The ancestors must be smiling because of we learning instead of toiling. The land they used to work, now house is a school of substance and words. We, their offsprings, if to tell their tale of the ruins that still remain. So we owe it to our forefathers to show cast their efforts in the present and future. Beat your drum, Mr. Drummer.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hail my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds, brought to you by Coconuts Cafe. Former Chief Secretary Troy Charles alluded to having knowledge of what can be expected from Chief Secretary Fali Augustine when he speaks on the issue of the audio recorded. Mr. Charles indicated that the recording is more than a year old while speaking on a radio station yesterday. He stated that the recording emanated when the administration took office. Whilst admitting to not wanting to overshadow what is to come, the former Chief Secretary did leave the audience curious as to whether Mr. Augustine will admit that the voice on the recording is indeed his. Meanwhile, male residents of the St. Vincent de Paul Home for the Aged in Mason Hall were treated to a day of pampering and interaction with staff and students of the program for adolescent mothers. Yesterday, this was part of Bridging the Gap activity, a component for PAM students, where they develop an appreciation for the elderly in society and learn about volunteerism. The pampering of the men at the home comes in a time for Father's Day on June 18th. And finally, the management of Tobago Updates issued a statement in support of youth journalism, noting that to simply say that youth are the leaders of the future and not provide the platforms for them to foray their interests and expertise is nothing but lip service. The management strongly disagreed with any individual or organization which uses their status to chastise young journalists when opinions are not aligned. And that was the news in 90 seconds, brought to you by Coconuts Cafe.
Coconuts Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Yes, and of course, we've got a whole lot happening within our space because, you know, at 9 o'clock, we would all be expecting the Chief Secretary to issue a statement and address certain issues that are within our space. Of course, chief among those is that of the controversial audio recording, which is under investigation right now by the police as well as the Integrity Commission. So it'll be interesting to see what he says in regards to that. Now, interesting to note that the address coming up at 9 o'clock is just that. It's just an address. It's not a press conference or anything like that. So the Chief Secretary would not be entertaining any questions from the media, unfortunately, at this point in time. Now, we are really hoping that we would be able to get that chance in very short order to question him on a lot of those issues. But for now, we would just have to take in what he says in that address. Now, moving on to our program for this morning, we have joining us on set Mr. Ray Sandy, who you would know as a former chief administrator, in the Tobago House of Assembly, having you served until 2018?
2019.
May 2018?
2019.
2019, right. So good morning and welcome to you, Mr. Sandy.
Nice, thanks for having me here.
Now, how long did you serve as chief administrator in the division?
I served for 5 years, from 2014 till 2019.
Right. And now, what was that experience like?
Oh, a very good part of my 42 years in the public service. I actually retired as chief administrator in the Tobago House of Assembly. My career started in 1977, 79, and I worked as a forest officer. I worked as forest training officer at ECAF in Trinidad. I worked in Trinidad in the forestry division for a number of years. I came to Tobago, worked with the environment department, and worked as an administrator and then as chief administrator.
All right. Now, the role of chief administrator, or the transition after the chief administrator retires, is certainly an issue right about now, because we are without a chief administrator. Now, I want to get from your perspective, having gone through the process, what is expected of the chief administrator when they are at that time where they are supposed to retire?
Well, the filling of the vacancy that would be created by the retirement is really not under the purview of the chief administrator. In fact, I want to read a little part of the THA Act for you. It says that there shall be assigned to the Assembly a chief administrator who shall be a public officer for the purposes of Section 121 of the Constitution. And Section 121 of the Constitution is very clear. It says that, and just the part relating to this matter, before the Public Service Commission makes any appointment to an office to which this subsection applies, it shall consult the Prime Minister. So that's a matter for the Public Service Commission and the Prime Minister. It goes on to say, a person shall not be appointed to an office to which subsection 3 applies if the Prime Minister signifies to the Public Service Commission his objection to the appointment of that person to that office. So it's really a conversation between the Prime Minister and the Public Service Commission. Now, the THA Act goes on to say that the Chief Administrator shall be an accounting officer who shall be responsible for such division as may be assigned to him by the Chief Secretary. And importantly, it says, prior to consultation with the Public Service Commission on the appointment of the Chief Administrator, the Prime Minister shall consult the Chief Secretary. So the THA Act specifies that, and it follows from the Constitution, actually.
Now, looking at the situation, all the information that has come forward in regards to, what happened over the past month, what would you say went wrong in terms of reaching to a point where we are without a chief administrator?
I think what went wrong, and this is basically from information already in the public domain, the Prime Minister, when he consulted with the Chief Secretary, might have suggested a particular individual as Chief Administrator. And apparently, the Chief Secretary did not inform, I'm saying this because this is what is said in the public domain, apparently the Chief Secretary did not inform the Prime Minister that the person the Prime Minister was thinking about was under some kind of investigation. So the Prime Minister would have left after he would have consulted with the Chief Secretary and then consult with the Public Service Commission recommending this person to be the Chief Administrator. The Public Service Commission, on the advice of the Prime Minister, would have done the necessary paperwork and submitted a letter to that individual saying that you have been appointed as Chief Administrator. Subsequently to that, other correspondence went to the Public Service Commission, from what I understand, detailing some disciplinary matters, of which I'm not privy to. And that was then brought to the attention, I believe, of the Prime Minister. At that stage, the letter appointing the individual as chief administrator had to be rescinded, and that's the reason why we're in that position that we're in today. If the Prime Minister, based on the information in the public domain, if the Prime Minister had known that that person was under investigation, then the Prime Minister could have had a second choice in terms of going to the Commission and saying, well, look, this is the person that I first recommended, but I understand that there's some issues, so therefore I'll go to person number B, as the case may be. But apparently that was not done because the Prime Minister, as he said publicly, he was not aware of any issues relating to the person who he consulted with the Chief Secretary with.
Now, we had Ms. Sidika Williams on with us a few days ago, the Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary, and she explained that it is possible that the Chief Secretary may not have known that this individual was under investigation. So we don't quite know what's the truth. We have the Prime Minister saying one thing and the Chief Secretary saying or information from within the THA indicating something else. Now, I want to ask you, from your experience, whose role it is to inform the Prime Minister of what of a candidate being under investigation? Who is obligated to do so?
Well, I think the Chief Secretary is obligated to do so if he knows.
If he knows.
Now, it is quite possible that at the time when the Prime Minister consulted the Chief Secretary was not aware. It's quite possible that the Chief Secretary could not be aware of disciplinary action to be taken on that kind of thing. He might be aware of some issues in the THA, but to inform the Prime Minister at that time, I don't know what the timelines are.
Certainly.
Or when he was consulted. But when the Prime Minister consulted with the Chief Secretary had no objection to the person that the Prime Minister put forward as the possible Chief Administrator. And the Prime Minister left those discussions thinking that he had the support of the Chief Secretary, and then he went. And then he sent that to the Public Service Commission, and they did the necessary paperwork. As you said, maybe at that time the Chief Secretary was not aware. It's quite possible.
Now, in a situation like that as well, where an officer is under investigation, would the Chief Administrator, the current Chief Administrator, would they know about such investigations? Would they know about individuals that are, under possible accusations and things like that the Public Service Commission is investigating?
Well, it's quite possible. I mean, when I was the Chief Administrator, I don't know if you can recall, there was an issue at the Division of Tourism with some funds that went awry and so on.
That's the Virgin Atlantic Funds.
Exactly. I got the information from the Administrator of Tourism. I immediately called in the fraud squad and all of that. That is the administrative part. And soon after that, I informed the Chief Secretary of the situation. So in my case, the Chief Secretary was aware that some investigation is going on. I can't say the same thing for the current Chief Secretary. He may or may not have been aware that some investigation is going on. And the timing is critical because even if he became aware, after the consultation with the Prime Minister, he couldn't do anything at that stage except perhaps get on the phone and call the Prime Minister and say, Prime Minister, I'm now getting some information that might be relevant, but I don't know at what stage the Prime Minister was at that time, So it's quite possible that it could have been innocently done in the sense that the Prime Minister consulted and the Chief Secretary was not aware at that time of any situation, or maybe they consulted quite a while now, and since then something happened that the Chief Secretary could have perhaps, I don't know of the time, so he could have perhaps hinted to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, I know we had a conversation a while ago, but this has now come to hand. So I don't know the timing of all of those things. So the date should be critical.
All right. Well, we're going to stick a pin right there in this conversation, but we would be continuing it right after this quick break.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
Are you
you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Hey, you buy a gift for daddy, has it? I didn't think so. You could come into Authentic Builders right here in Tobago local road, right? And you can get discounts on power tools, so daddy. If not, you know you can get fame as well. Right behind me there is blocks. You can buy some blocks to finish the house or tunnel steel, lumber, even roofing as well. So we are announcing our Grandfather's Day sale. And to crown it off, the crowning moment will be Friday the 16th and Saturday the 17th, where you can come in store, get free giveaways, and on Friday is breakfast given out. Saturday is lunches sharing out. So you hear the scene right here in Bonaccord, Tobago, and send in your quotation to 272-1990 for your free WhatsApp quotation. It's that simple. So guys, come on down right here at Tobago Local Road in Canaan to come and get your best prices. Not to mention, don't forget, you have to come down here Friday the 16th and Saturday the 17th, where you're getting giveaways and all different things will be happening right here for Daddy in Tobago. Later.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our discussions with former Chief Administrator in the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Ray Sandy, who served from 2014 to 2019.
Yes.
All right, great. Now, before we went to the break, we were getting into the discussions regarding the suspension of public officers, you know, what may or may not have happened with the intended candidate to replace the last chief administrator and so on. But Mr. Sandy, as you're here, you know, because we have been hearing about these investigations, we've been hearing, well, we heard about that suspension. I want you to explain, you know, from your experience and knowledge, what happens when there's an issue arises of a possible, I don't know, infraction committed by a public officer. What is the process like in terms of treating with that and the investigations?
Okay, the process will be that the allegation that is made against the officer will be sent to the chief administrator, who will then ask for some more details. So in my case, I would ask a senior officer to do a preliminary kind of check on the issues. A report would come to the chief administrator, and if in the chief administrator's judgment it is serious enough and it's an infraction against the rules and so on of the public service, then the chief administrator forwards that information or consults with the Public Service Commission via writing, saying, well, okay, these are the allegations and so on. The Public Service Commission would then look at it and take a decision as to whether or not the officer, whether the allegations are sufficiently important enough to treat with, and the officer can be basically asked to not report for duty, and the Public Service Commission will appoint an investigator, and there's where the real thing starts in terms of the investigation and so on. So the Public Service Commission will appoint an investigator. That person would be known to the person who is being affected, and they will be asked to cooperate with the investigator. The investigator will then contact the person who is being investigated, and the investigator will submit a report eventually to the Public Service Commission, and then they will decide on what possible action. If the report suggests that the person can possibly be guilty of some infraction, then there'll be a tribunal that will hear the both sides, meaning the complainant, which in this case would be the chief administrator, and the person who is being complained against can have their legal representatives and so on. And it basically goes to almost like a court matter. At the end of the day, a decision is made, and if the commission is of the view that the person is found culpable and so on, then they can determine the course of quote-unquote punishment. You can be dismissed, a variety of options are available to the Public Service Commission in that case.
What is the role of a chief secretary or an assemblyman in matters such as this?
They will only play a role if the infraction involves them. But they really have no other role to play, really. It's not a political matter. It's a public service matter. So, for example, if the allegation is that, let's say, to be a foolish allegation, like, well, okay, the individual would have taken some funds and went and did some private work for a politician, for example. Let's say you went and you built a house for a politician, then the politician will be involved in that matter, and they will have to say, well, okay, how the house came about and so on and so on. So, in other words, evidence and that kind of thing. But generally, it's a public service matter, and politicians generally don't get involved except they are directly involved in the situation at hand.
Can a politician, can they instruct those investigations to go forth?
Well, a politician can get information and forward that information to, let's say, the administrator of that division, who will then forward it to the chief administrator, and then, as I said, you do a preliminary inquiry, and if you realize that there's some credibility to the allegations, then by all means you go ahead with the Public Service Commission and all of that.
All right, and then when it comes, and of course the punishment or the consequences, can that be influenced by the chief secretary or any assemblyman?
No. The Public Service Commission will deal with that.
Completely?
Completely.
And they don't have any conversation with the politician about the matter?
No, they won't have any, except they won't have any direct consultation with the politician at all. They treat the matters in relation to the public service regulations and so on. And they will determine the course of action. If it's grave enough, the person can be dismissed. You can be suspended for a number of years. You can be demoted in some instances and so on.
What happens in a situation where a chief administrator is not in that position, as we have right now? What happens to the business of the assembly?
That's a ticklish one. It depends on what business you're referring to. I mean, if the chief administrator is sick, let's assume that things are normal and the chief administrator is sick for a month or so, the business doesn't stop. It means, therefore, that the Public Service Commission can ask a senior administrator to act as chief administrator for that period of time and so on. I don't know what the situation is now in terms of because the Public Service Commission would have, from what I understand, would have sent a letter to an individual saying, okay, you'll assume the duties, and then this thing came up, and then they sent a letter rescinding that. So there's also a little issue with respect to the Public Service Commission. I shouldn't really call it an issue. The Public Service Commission, from my understanding, isn't properly constituted right now. I think the deputy or somebody would have
been appointed on Monday.
All right. So before Monday, they weren't properly constituted, so they could not sit and take action. So since Monday, I think that it's properly constituted now, they can now take action. So even if they wanted to before, they had to wait for for it to be properly constituted. That's my understanding of it. Right, and since Monday, if you say it's Monday, I know that they're in full action now, so they basically do what they have to do by appointing someone who is not under investigation and so on, as chief administrator.
Now, when Ms. Sidika Williams-Orr was on with us, she also explained that it doesn't, the next candidate for the chief administrator doesn't necessarily have to be the person that sits as the permanent secretary at CAST.
Oh, no, they have no relationship at all, not whatsoever.
So now how come, what qualifies someone to be considered for the position of chief administrator? And do you have any knowledge of any such candidates within the public service in Tobago at this current time?
Yes, I mean there are a number of persons who in Trinidad and Tobago who can fit the bill for the chief administrator. The person has to be a senior officer with certain kind of experiences and so on. There are no specific qualification that says that you have to have a master's in this or a master's in that and so on. And unlike to become a permanent secretary, you have to go through an assessment and you have to pass the assessment, quote unquote, exam. Then you're appointed as a deputy permanent secretary, and then you get appointment to a permanent secretary.
And is a permanent secretary the highest position you could attain within the public service?
Yes, yes, and I'll give you the rundown in terms of the jurisdiction. So the permanent secretary goes through that process, and once you pass that assessment exam, then you get appointed as deputy permanent secretary. And after that, it depends on the prime minister and so on and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, the prime minister has a say as to who should become the head of the public service, permanent secretaries and so on. But you have to pass a certain test. For administrators, that is not necessary. It could be a senior officer, and you're appointed as chief administrator.
Now, would the Public Service Commission recommend just one candidate at any point in time, or would they have a variety of candidates?
They will have a list of candidates who are eligible, but they will consult with as I said, the Prime Minister has a large say in this. They'll consult with the Prime Minister, and then the Prime Minister will say, yes, we are in agreement with this person. After the Prime Minister would have consulted with the Chief Secretary, in this case for the Chief Administrator. And I'm not a lawyer, but I understand consultation in that means that I could just inform you of it.
Yes.
Right? We don't have to agree.
Because I'm trying to understand, I mean, you might have the top person that you think is best for the job, but, why wouldn't there be some other persons there just in case something happened and that person cannot fill that position? So,
well, there's no deputy chief administrator. The chief administrator and the administrators. It's quite possible you for a short period of time, a short term, they'll probably pick the most senior administrator to perform the duties for a limited period of time. Or if it's a very long period of time, they can bring someone from anywhere in the public service. But usually it's somebody who resides in Tobago, or who has some linkage with Tobago and so on, because of the situation with respect to their families and that kind of thing and so on.
Certainly. All right. Well, we're going to pause a little bit there on the conversation because we have to take a quick break. But when we come back, we will, continue with Mr. Ray Sandy as we try to understand what's going on with the position of Chief Administrator within the Tobago House of Assembly.
How it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over.
People in the sun, we are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying Tobago is number.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Well, viewers, we are continuing conversations with a former chief administrator in the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Ray Sandy, and he served between 2014 and 2019. Now, Mr. Sandy, we are going to be hearing in just about 25 minutes' time, hopefully, from the Chief Secretary in regards to a whole list of matters within our space. One of them is that of a controversial audio recording where it is alleged that some of those voices may be senior members of the THA of the Executive Council. Now, in a situation like that, where it is attracting the police, the investigation of the police, the Integrity Commission is being called to investigate that matter, what should happen for those persons that are within the Executive Council that may be implicated?
Well, I don't know if anything should happen. I would want to think that if it's being investigated, the persons who are being investigated might be talking to an attorney, and the attorney might well advise them have nothing to say. Mm-hmm. So you might very well have a press conference with the person saying, "Well, look, I can't make any statement about this. It's being investigated." Mm-hmm. Or it's a matter for the Integrity Commission or a matter for the police, and as such, I can't speak about it. So that could be the outcome of any interviews and so on with persons who allegedly are now being investigated by the Integrity Commission or by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Does the law say anything about those politicians having to step down from their role while the investigations are ongoing?
I am not aware of any such no. Mm-hmm. We've had cases of politicians who have been charged and so on, and it's a matter for the party or the political leader to say, well, look, you have brought the party or the government into disrepute, so therefore I'm asking you to stand down. I remember when I think it was Dan Suk who had made the allegations against the two ministers. And immediately the Prime Minister then asked the two ministers to resign, given the allegations made against them. Mm-hmm. And that thing went on for a couple of years, and eventually they were I think Franklin Khan was one of them. They were eventually found not culpable for any wrongdoing, and he returned to government and so on. The other guy never returned to government. That's something, I think his name was William, if I remember well.
Yes.
So those are the kind of consequences.
All right, so it's
They're
only
political.
So it's only the outcome of the investigation that some action can be taken.
Yes, and for political reasons, if the allegations are going to be of such a manner that the party feels that they're being compromised, they may ask the person to step down. But that's
an internal matter. That's an internal matter, but not guided by the law.
No.
All right.
That's all I can do.
And then in regards to the whole situation of hiring of persons. Now, how much oversight does the chief administrator within the assembly have over the employment of people within the THA?
Well, okay, we have employment in two general realms. One is through the public service, and one is via contract employment. And the THA Act allows the THA to employ persons on contract. I think it's section 25, if I'm not mistaken. So that is clear. They can employ persons on contract. They go to the executive council, they create a position, make a case for it, and they can employ persons on contract. The hope is that they don't employ persons on contract to do the same job that public servants who are already employed are doing, because basically you're wasting resources there. And the public service is set in terms of the structure and so on. There are cases where if the THA would like to get some additional position and so on, they can make a case to the Public Service Commission and that kind of thing. But generally, those posts are well recognized and set, but the Assembly can employ persons on contract in accordance with the Tobago House of Assembly Act.
Now, can the Chief Administrator, let's say, disagree with a suggestion, instruction from a assemblyman, etc., or secretary about the hiring of certain persons?
Yes, the chief administrator or any other administrator can disagree. The way I will treat it, that if I feel strongly about it, I will not only just disagree, but I'll write about it. I'll write and indicate to the secretary or the chief secretary not my objections, but the questions I would have about the person who's been employed. One, whether they have the necessary qualifications, whether they're absolutely necessary if you have another person doing that same job and that kind of thing. I will certainly write about it.
And can let's say the chief secretary or another secretary override that decision?
Oh, well, yeah, they can go to the executive council. The executive council is the one that makes the final decision. The executive council can tell the secretary, no, we won't be approving this because of XYZ, or they can say, yes, it's a valid case, and we will approve it. And when the executive council approves it, then the person is then employed on contract and so on.
Now, during your time in office, did you ever have to deal with a situation like that?
Oh, yes, I had to deal with a situation like that. And in 99% of the cases, I prevailed.
99%.
because I think the politicians they listen to good reason.
Yes.
They listen to good reason. They come to you and say, look, I want to employ this person for this reason, and you point out to them, but we already have two persons doing the same job and so on. And secondly, I want to pay the person $15,000 a month. Mr. Secretary, this person, the qualifications they only have at 2 levels and so on and so on. On what basis are you going to pay them $15,000 a month? I have people here with master's degrees have been paid $10,000 a month, and you make a case and so on, and sometimes you do all the haggling and all of that. But at the end of it all, no politician wants to know that their name is out there saying that they employed someone who is not qualified, overpaying them, even with the advice against it from any public officer. So generally, you tend to get your way in that.
All right. And now, what do you want? As we're getting ready to wrap up this conversation, what do you want Tobago to kind of go away with? Or how do we want us as Tobagonians to process this whole situation? Because it is a very tricky situation, especially not having that chief administrator in place.
Yes, and what I want Tobagonians to go away with, this situation is not the normal kind of situation. A number of things would have happened. One is the timing of the investigation. The second one is the timing of the person not being okay, let me put it this way. The Public Service Commission is not properly constituted until, as indicated, it might have been Monday gone. So even if the Prime Minister wanted to do something before, he couldn't do it because it wasn't properly constituted for a period of time. And perhaps when the Prime Minister consulted with the Chief Secretary might not have been aware of the gravity of the case in accordance to the person who the Prime Minister recommended and they agreed on, or he didn't have any disagreement with, and that kind of thing. So I think a number of factors came together to create this lacuna in the Tobago House of Assembly, and it's a learning experience for all of us. We hope that it never happens again. And I'm certain that all the players will now look at appointments and so on in a different light, and perhaps operating a different way. And generally, the appointments are made with some time before the appointee takes a position. So you don't have this last minute thing where the person has a letter to start work and then you send another letter telling them, oh, okay, you're suspended and that kind of thing. So it creates all kinds of confusion. But I think this was an unusual situation in this case.
All right. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Ray Sandy, for being on with us and to giving us your perspective from your experience. I mean, none better than you to, shed some light on this situation. So thank you so much for being on with us. And I hope you're enjoying your retirement as well.
Definitely. And I tell people I'm enjoying my 7-day weekends.
Certainly. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Sandy. And viewers, don't go anywhere because we have a lot more coming up for you on GMT.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement, and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Tapicom. Welcome to the future. The only card you will need in a new world. Digital business cards. Safe, hassle-free. The future is here. Tapicom. New generation digital transfer. Digital time clock cards. Digital attendance cards, air tags, customized designs, digital clothing tags, digital pet tags. Tapicom. The future is here. Contact us today.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
And hear me neighbor, 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun, we are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are very anxious and to see in just about 13 minutes time, hopefully it's on time, that we will be hearing from Chief Secretary Fadi Augustine in regards to so many issues within the space. Now, you would have heard from the conversation I had here with Mr. Ray Sadi, who is a former chief administrator in the division, sort of bringing some context, bringing his experience and knowledge in regards to this situation. I mean, with the absence of the chief administrator currently, it is not a good situation where we don't have our top accountant within the THA, because, I mean, it has some implications for what is to happen with some of the major decisions that need to be taken on a public service level. So we await that conversation. Like as we said, Tobago Updates will be carrying that live at 9 a.m. So just after GMT, we'll be concluding with that. Now we are also want to inform you of an activity happening this weekend, hosted by the Roxborough Police Youth Club. And they are inviting you, the public, to a day of love and togetherness as we outside with Daddy, because of course this weekend is Father's Day weekend. Some of the activities that's going to be happening, and this is going to be happening on the 18th of June on Sunday, which is of course Father's Day. And some of the activities is that of a photo booth, horse riding, pedicure, barbering, DJ. There's going to be a DJ. There's going to be an all-four competition. So yes, you can bring out your daddy and see them in action as they compete against each other in all-fours competition. Looking forward to see somebody like Mr. Ryan O'Neill. I know Mr. Ryan O'Neill is a very good all-fours player. I want to know if he'll be out there. Some entertainment and games, right? There'll be music. There's going to be a bar. And this is all happening at the Roxborough Police Youth Club grounds in Bloody Bay Road in Roxborough. So for you kids out there, bring out your daddies and have them participate in this activities put forward by the Roxborough Police Youth Club, who continues to do such an amazing job here. If it's one thing, I might go as far as to say the Roxborough Police Youth Club is perhaps the best police youth club in the country in terms of how they are organized and, just the amount of things that they have been doing. They've been doing remarkable work. And, a lot of credit does go to ACP Collis Hazel, who has been, very strong behind the Roxborough Police Youth Club and building it to the point where it is today, so they can do things like this and appreciate, fathers on Father's Day. So viewers, if you are in Roxborough or if you can get to Roxborough, please, go by and, it would be a fun time for your families as you interact with the young people. I mean, we need to, treat our fathers right. Our fathers don't get as much positive attention as, mothers do. And let's stress on the fathers alone. I mean, mothers do a great job, but we need to celebrate our fathers, especially on Father's Day. So, go outside with Daddy and have fun with the Roxborough Police Youth Club. So yes, viewers, we got, this morning, now I want to clarify though and I don't know if we can put the notice up on the screen to clarify the meeting for the address, the public address from the Chief Secretary. Now I want to emphasize that this is going to be a pre-recorded address from my information. So unfortunately, the members of the media would not be able to question the Chief Secretary on anything that he says this morning. Perhaps we might get an opportunity at some other point in time where we can meet him and pose some questions to him, and hopefully he can answer. And then we're getting some comments. So, I mean, the mere fact that this is happening as an address and not as a press briefing, we are getting some comments, specifically one from attorney at law, Mr. Martin George, who is also the chairman of the Tobago Business Chamber, who says, don't expect any earth-shattering at 9. The TTPS, in crude, clumsy cluelessness, have given the perfect excuse to stay silent. So, I mean, of course, this is just his statements. We are hoping that the Chief Secretary would provide clarity. He did promise on Tuesday that he would speak on the matter, and it meant that some people would be implicated. He said that the entire Executive Council would be cleared of any allegations that are within the public space. We are hoping to find out some more information, but interestingly enough, this matter is garnering the attention of the police, and a lead investigator has been appointed to investigate the matter, as well as the Integrity Commission is looking into the matter. Several people have written to the Integrity Commission to find out for more information on that. To get into that, for the Integrity Commission to be involved, this can be a very serious matter. I'm just getting in some more comments here and some more perspective. Now, I can tell you that the members of the media, are not quite pleased because we have been asking questions for the last 3.5 weeks in regards to this whole issue. However, we are we can't do much. Unfortunately, the Chief Secretary made a statement that his agenda cannot be set by the media, which can have some implications, because as the top politician within our island, as the head of Tobago's government in essence, he should be open to questions from the media, especially when situations like this arise of serious concern. So, I don't know, there's a whole lot to be said on that. Can't really say too much at this point in time. And we're just continue hoping that we can get some clarity. Now, as we're speaking about the media, viewers, something big is happening in Tobago. Something big is happening to Tobago Updates. Tobago Updates is moving to a situation where we would become an even stronger voice in the media fraternity. Now, what you may ask? Well, if you look out, if you're on the western side of the island, from about 2 o'clock this afternoon, be prepared for perhaps some traffic challenges. But it is because, we, Tobago Updates, will be launching, in a fun way, we'll be launching our TV station. Yes, viewers, I know you all have been looking forward to it. We have so many supporters out there, and we are so happy that you've been aboard with us from day one. Yes, I don't know if you've seen this ad out there, but change is coming in 4 days. 4 days. Tobago Updates is going to be growing in a tremendous way, where we can have a greater voice. Some things are going to be rolled out in the next week, and we are going to be sharing some more information, how you can be on board with this, how you can be even better connected with us in such a grand way. We have grown so much since starting in on October 18, 2021. We came in with a bang, we came in with a vision to change the media landscape in Tobago, and that we are going to be doing in a very grand way. I am certainly excited. Our team is very excited. A lot of hard work. People see us on the screen every morning. They are not aware of all the hard work that goes into making this possible. But I can tell you that everybody that's on board is committed to providing you, the viewers, a way for us to see Tobago in a more comprehensive manner, in a more positive manner as well. And that's what we've been striving to do, to make sure that we can uplift the standards of broadcast here on the island. And my goodness, it's going to be happening on a greater scale in 4 days, people, 4 days. So if you're going to be on, I want you to be on the western end of the island from about 4 o'clock. Just be prepared for a little bit of traffic in certain areas, but from about 4 o'clock, look out for, should I say a motorcade? Can I say that, guys? Can I? All right, I can't say too much. But yes, you need to be on the western end of the island from about 2 o'clock this afternoon to see what we have to roll out for you guys. It's going to be exciting. And in 4 days, yeah, we're going to be hearing more. And as we're getting prepared to hear from Chief Secretary Fali Augustine in just a few minutes' time, just know that we at Tobago Updates is going to have a greater role in terms of how we hold our politicians to account, in terms of the news and the journalism that we are going to present to you, the people of Tobago, because you certainly deserve a higher level, a more ethical level of journalism here in Tobago. So we are going to be providing that to you. All right, so stay tuned in just a couple minutes because we are going to be hearing from Chief Secretary Fali Augustine as he addresses a lot of issues that are within the public space at this time. So for now, that's it from me, Candace Jackson, here on GMT. But you're going to be seeing a bit more. We're going to be seeing a bit more of me and the team as we get ready to roll out something big for Tobago Updates. See you soon.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago Updates.